Hi, I'm Mark Duntemann, owner of Natural Path Urban Forestry Consultants and a board member of the Illinois Arborist Association and the Illinois Forestry Association. Today we're in Parkholm Cemetery in LaGrange Park, Illinois to document and initiate an urban wood utilization project. Historically in the United States, urban wood waste from removal operations typically end up in landfills or as wood chips. But there are a large number of high-quality tree species in good condition that could be diverted to a higher use, such as furniture and flooring. In this cemetery, we've identified 19 dead white oak that could be used for furniture rather than going to a landfill. And white oak is the second most valuable tree species for lumber in Illinois. We know from federal land surveys made in the early 1830s that the area that encompasses Parkholm Cemetery was a mix of prairie and oak hickory woodland. The cemetery itself resides in an area that was identified as woodland. In fact, once the trees have been removed, we'll be able to calculate the exact age within a year or two by counting the annual rings on the stumps. The possibility exists that these very trees are remnants of the woodlands shown on the 1834 survey map. The area that includes the cemetery was homesteaded by Thomas Koval in 1833 after the Black Hawk War. Mr. Koval is buried here. The lumber from this project will go toward a broad range of Chicago Public School projects. One is for preschool furniture for classrooms, cabinets for the uplift independent living classroom for developmentally disabled children, and finally wood for the cabinetry making classes for the various high schools in the town. The 19 dead trees that we're discussing today are Quercus alba, white oak. And two things to consider for the removal operations and the selections of the trees are that over time the quality of the wood will deteriorate with the natural processes of decay. As decay increases, the potential for tree failure will also increase. So we have to act in a timely manner. Our plan is to remove 4 trees in a few weeks, and we're here today to make those choices. Our choices are based on 4 parameters: diameter, length of log, soundness of wood, and accessibility. The diameter and length of log will allow us to determine the volume of wood that we can retrieve from the trees. Soundness of wood will give us some indicator of wood quality. And finally, working in a cemetery has its unique problems. We don't want to do any damage to the grounds or the monuments, and so we'll be using a crane to work off of the service roads to reach the trees. Okay, so the first parameter we're going to measure is the diameter of the tree. And with me today I have forestry technician Adelina Dima. Hi Adelina.
How you doing?
Good, good. Let's go ahead and measure this. Adelina's using a diameter tape or D-tape. The D-tape is calibrated to read the diameter while wrapped around the circumference of the tree. And Adelina is measuring at a standard height of 4.5 feet above the ground. That's known as DBH, or diameter breast height. And what's the diameter on this? 27 inches in diameter. The height of the merchantable log is measured with a simple device called a clinometer. Adelina is using it right now. With both eyes open, she looks through a view to look at a scale with her left eye, and with her right eye looking at the top of the merchantable log on the tree. By combining both images, she can read off the scale. And what do we have?
32 feet.
32 feet. The last device we're using is a resistograph. It's a drill with a long, flexible, thin bit that drills into the tree and measures resistance. Adelina is drilling the tree as low as possible on the stump so that the drill doesn't damage any of the merchantable portion of the trunk. When it hits pockets of decay or a cavity, it reads out on the graph paper. Oaks have a tendency to get basal decay in the base of the tree, and if we find through this device that the tree is solid, more than likely the trunk is solid also, and so a merchantable log. We have evaluated all 19 trees and have selected 4 trees as the ones likely to provide the most volume of wood. 2 of the trees, however, number 3 and 4, are located in the interior of this section. If we find we cannot reach them with the crane, then we'll remove 2 alternate trees that are closer to the service drive. Based on our calculations, we estimate that there is as much as 3,200 board feet of white oak lumber in these 4 trees alone. That's a substantial amount of lumber that we hope to divert to secondary wood use like furniture rather than going to a landfill. In our next installment, we'll have a professional arboricultural firm out here to remove the trees and send the logs to the mill. We'll see you then.